here. You can't see my face. Jeez, Lord Almighty. Oh, I'm gonna have to move the thing. I have to move it so you can see my face. That's better. That's not better. It's like that's better. Okay, I started too late in the day and it's getting dark. And I think I'm going to turn this kitchen light on and maybe it'll be better because I have a feeling if I turn that light on, it might be just too much. I don't have a particular office, just 450 square feet. It's not enough room. Maybe for a teenager, but I'm not a teenager. So I don't know if that will do any good, but yeah, maybe a little bit. Okay. So it's been a while since I've done a video and I've been sitting on this baking this in my brain for about 4 months, maybe 5, because this is February. So we're going back to October or November. And I was working like a dog in November. I was working like a dog. We're walking. I was walking 6 hours a day, going specific address to specific address to specific address. So it's time now for me to do this video, and I don't have like an outline in me. I have a here, but no outline, nothing like that. So it's probably going to be kind of all over the place, and it's kind of funny. You attract what you are. You don't attract what you want. So interesting that I have attracted some people in my life, either in real life or online. I'm a YouTube junkie. I spend more time on YouTube than I do on Facebook. I'm a YouTube junkie. There could be a name for a person that's addicted to YouTube. I don't know what that would be, but I'm definitely watching a lot of videos on YouTube. So I want to start this off with a spiritual mind treatment. Anybody that's familiar with the science of mind and Ernest Holmes and familiar with religious science, you're going to know what a spiritual mind treatment is. So I want to start out with that, and then I can go into the whole thing of what I would like to share. I don't actually have the book with me. I guess the book's probably in boxes in the car. It's probably, yeah, the book that I'm thinking of is probably in the car. Oh, well, I'll have to bring that book out sometime later. Or I can just find it on my phone or whatever and reference it later. So, coming together in consciousness right now, in this moment, in this time, I know that in this time, in this one single moment in time, I know that there is spirit. I know there is a one mind. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it Jesus. You can call it God. You can call it source. You can call it the field. You can call it Muhammad. You can call it whatever you want. The great plane, a great pussy in the sky, your internal GPS. It is here and it is now and it is perfect. And I know that I am one with that field of intelligence. I am one perfectly integrated into that oneness, that one mind. There's nothing that I need to do to get to it. There's nothing that I need to become attached to it. I don't need to repent of my sins to be saved, to be a good little girl, to get in that one mind. I just am. I am. And I know that I am complete and I am whole just as I am. And I am abundant and I am all that I am right now. And that's all that exists, is right now, in this moment. I embody that perfect, loving, harmonious, giving, funny, giving source of love and compassion and understanding to the world. And I know that everything that is out there that I seek is also seeking me. And as I know this for me, that I am joy and abundance, and I am harmony, and I am love, and I am funny and grateful. I know this for everybody else that may be listening right now or may choose to listen a little bit later. And I say thank you. I let it go. I say thank you so much for these gifts, for they are already mine and they are already done in the one mind. I put it in the law, it is already done. And I say thank you. And I release it all into the nothingness. And so it is. So, my name is Sandra Gregston, and I used to have a following of atheists back in the day. And, oh gosh, 12, 13 years ago. Don't really know how long ago it was. 12 years ago, I guess. Yeah, 12 years ago. And I've come a long way since my atheist days, because I remember being very angry when I was an atheist, and I said, this is not who I want to be. I don't want to be this person that is angry. So I kind of shifted away from that. I said, well, maybe I'm an agnostic. I can't really decide if I don't believe in a God or do believe in a God. And and you really need to, I have a video on this. You can go back and look about the ontological argument of what God is. If you do not define God, if you don't have an ontological argument of what God is, it is going to be very difficult for you to have a discussion with anybody about, are you a theist? Are you a deist? Maybe you're a deist. Maybe there's a God that doesn't really intervene in your life, you know? And as a religious scientist, science of mind, I believe I could co-create with that. You know, I create things every day by my thoughts, and it is a co-creation. And I decided today I'm going to go on here and do this video. I decided, I think it was yesterday, I said, you're going to do this video in the afternoon on Sunday afternoon, and you're going to do this. So I took notes. I just took a little bit of notes. And then there's a little bit from, I think it's Jesus and Astrology. What's this say? Ehau 2, is it Ehau 2? livejournal.com. And I'm going to read a little bit from here. I don't know the name of the person that wrote this, but if I can go back and edit, you can read along in LiveJournal. I just put in Jesus in astrology. I meant Jesus in astro-theology. And this came up when I put in Jesus in astrology into Google. And there's the Eye of Horus. I really like Horus. I really like Hermeticism. So later on, I'm going to do videos, at least this is my plan. I'm going to do videos on mythology and talk about all the mythology with Greeks. And Greek mythology is absolutely insane. I stumbled upon Bill Donahue on YouTube a year ago. It was February 2024. I stumbled upon it The algorithm is with YouTube is very, very sensitive. It's smart. It knows what you would like, depending on what you watch. And it will recommend more and more and more and more of stuff that you are watching. And we think you like this. And when I stumbled upon Bill Donahue, he is a scholar, and he does take the Bible as an allegory, just like Santos Bonacci. So I found Santos Bonacci probably, I don't know exactly the month. I haven't been writing in my journal every day. But I'm going to guess I discovered Santos Bonacci probably around June or July or August of 2024. And I found him because I was listening to Bill Donahue. And I like both. But now I'm asking for a new teacher. Santos Bonacci's great, but he's all over the place. And I've learned a lot from Santos Bonacci. I've learned a lot. And I've learned a lot from Bill Donahue. So now I'm looking for a brand new teacher. And this is something that has called to me. I seem to have a fascination with astro-theology and wanting to read a Bible as a mystic, wanting to read it as an allegory, wanting to read how do we understand the Bible as an allegory as it relates to the stars. So I'm not going to go into too much astro-theology today. I'm not going to go into too much mythology. I'm not going to go into the stories, like the story of Aphrodite or the story of Kronos or the story of Uranus and, the story of Poseidon. I'm not going to go deep into those stories. This is just a brief little overview. I was actually going to go into the tarot cards because, I've been studying that too. And there's the lower meanings of the tarot cards, and then there's the higher esoteric. And then you can attach it to the tree of life, the Hermetic tree of life, the Kabbalah with the Q. And, believe me, when I say YouTube junkie, I'm a YouTube junkie because I listen to Rabbi Abe Sokolch, and that's the Jewish version of the Kabbalah, and they read the Bible as a mystic too. I don't when I say I look at the Bible and I read it, or I take a text, or not a text, a verse or two, or a section of a book in the Bible. I don't read it as a historical document. Go back to my videos from 2013. Look at all those videos when I was living with my mom before my mom died. And I was probably doing, 7 videos a week, maybe 10 videos a week. Back in those days, I was doing a lot of videos because I was trying to figure out, am I a Christian? Am I an atheist? I don't know what I am. And, I'm not a Christian, guys. I'm not a born again Christian. You cannot convince me that somebody needs to be saved and converted to anything, because it's all one. It's all one. So I value I can't even talk today. Intellectualization. I value it. So if you are an intellect, if you are a scholar, I'm probably going to be on the side of being very, I got to be very careful, because I can start to in a way, worship. And I was like, I can't do this with Santos Bonacci. I was like, I can't do this. I cannot put this man on a pedestal. I cannot do it. He's great, but he's all over the place. But I realize that in me too. I do. I realize that I am all over the place. And I'm like, okay, Saturn, I'm an Aquarius rising. I'm ruled by Saturn. And I'm like, okay, let's bring it in. Let's bring in some boundaries here because I want to study eventually. I want to study, yes, the Greek mythology. Yes, the Roman mythology behind the planets. Yes, the Greek and Roman mythology, not just behind the planets, but behind um, the signs, the zodiac. So we got like Demeter for Virgo, we got Helios for the sun, we got Selene for the moon, and we got Hermes for Jupiter. I love Hermes. Because Mercury is the messenger, the mind, and the central nervous system. So if you study medical astrology, you're going to see the man. He's like a man, and he turns into a fish. The 2 feet. Well, not a fish. The 2 feet at the bottom for Pisces, but Leo's the heart. So if you're a Christian, you're probably going to want to be interested in Leo, the heart. Learn about that. And learn about how Christ comes through every single zodiac sign. Because everything in that is in the Bible. Everything is in the Bible. You think it's not, it is. All the stars and everything like that. Priscilla and Aquila is in the Bible. Priscilla and Aquila is up in the stars too. It's I believe it's in Sagittarius, I believe. I'll have to check it later. But I can't go into and branch off into Stoicism, which Diane Donahue was teaching me Stoicism before she died in 2022. So, and then the Neoplatonism, and then the Hermeticism, and then the Gnosticism. And then you branch out more into the Rosicrucians. Believe me, I tapped all of it, and I was like, wow, I'm interested in the Rosicrucians. I'm interested in the Gnostics. I'm interested in the Neoplatonism. I'm interested in the this and the that. And I'm like, no, I have to pull that shit back. I have to pull it back. And this is why I'm calling in Saturn, saying, okay, we're going to just bring it in. We're going to bring it in and just pick one thing, because I have my other notebook not here. It's in the other room. And I got the Kabbalah Tree of Life up. And that Tree of Life is connected. We got 22 paths on it. Plus the Sephiroths. We got Malkut, and we got Yasat, and we got Keter at the top, and we got Bina. And I can't remember all of them, but they're attached to angels. They're attached. There's the 7 Hellenistic original ancient planets, not Neptune, not Uranus, not Pluto. Those are later modern astrology planets. But, well, I guess Pluto is attached to Keter at the top. But all the planets, they're attached to, there's another one. Neptune is I believe Neptune is number 2. And I can't remember the name of it, because Bina is number 3. And I can't remember what number 2 is on the Tree of Life. I can't remember what it is. But there's planets related to all of them. There's herbs related to each Sephiroth. And then you get into Tarot, and then you got the paths. So if you go this way, it's the 1 to 2, it's the Fool. If you go 1 to 3, that's the Magician. So there's all these different paths. And there's angels. There's angels that are attached to the Tree of Life. And I have it all in the other book in the bedroom. So, and I was like telling myself yesterday, just do a quick video on an overview of the Greek and the Roman gods. and then do a quick overview on the tarot and make it one video. And then today I was like, oh shit, I can't do that. It's like, no, I don't have time. That would be probably hour and a half, maybe 2 hour video, something. I don't really know. So I'm just gonna go quickly through the zodiac signs, and then I want to read. I want to get back. I'm gonna read a little bit of Ernest Holmes. This is this thing called You. I just started reading it again. I want to say maybe a week ago. I'm on chapter 2, so I want to bring him into it because I noticed that studying all this stuff, especially when you get into the higher meanings, the very high esoteric meanings, you need to ground down to Mother Earth. And for me, studying the science of mind and the truth, the principles that do not change. There are spiritual principles that do not change. I have to ground down to Mother Earth. And so this is like a book of poetry, this thing called You, but there's spiritual truths in here. So I want to anchor myself into those spiritual truths that do not change. I don't know if this video is going to go out to anybody and people are going to see it. I don't know. But if you are a Christian, you might want to look up Leo and the sun and see how that correlates to the Bible. And I don't really care for this. I'm probably going to have to do the first video I do. Probably, I would think, the first video, if I do a video on tarot, like within a week or two from now, more than likely, it's either going to be the Leo card, strength, or the Capricorn card, which is the devil in the tarot. And the devil has a bad rap due to Christians and due to the Roman Catholic Church. In other, I guess it's maybe in the somewhere in history, I want to say it was the what are their names? The great three. We got the Jews, we got the Christians, and we got the Muslims. That's what they're called. I was like, what are they called? There's something there with Baphomet and Capricorn, and there was some kind of confusion or some kind of, I don't know what it was, but there was some type of confusion where people thought that they were talking about Muhammad, and it became Baphomet. So I need to study that a little bit more. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, but there is this Greek god Pan. I need to read more on that too. That's why I'm not doing a big dive into the mythology of all these books. I just got a book out from the library. I got it out maybe, I'm going to say I got it out back in November. And it was a really cool book on mythology. I mean, it went into first Greek and then Roman, and then it went into like Egyptian, and it went into like the anthropology through. It was like an anthropology book of myth. It was fabulous. And I didn't get done with it. I kept on, the library keeps on renewing it every week. And I think it was renewed for 10 weeks, 12 weeks. And I just had to turn the book in maybe the first week of February. And now I'm sure that it's back in circulation. I could probably go back there Tuesday or Wednesday in Menifee and see if it's in circulation and then just check it out. Or I can go on rivlib.net and check it and make sure they deliver it here, because I don't live in Menifee. I live 12 miles north of Menifee. and then they can just deliver it to the library here, and I can just pick it up here in a few days, unless it's checked out. So I'm just going to go quickly through this, and then I'm going to read this. I think, yeah, I got 20% on my phone, so I gotta read this. So Aries is Mars. It is the Greek god is Aries, and it rules the head. And with the Romans, from what I can tell, with the Roman mythology, they didn't like to rename. So Aries, the sign Aries, ruled by Mars, they didn't really like to change the name. So it's Aries. And that's the Roman god of war. And you can read more on your own about Ares and the Roman god of war. And again, that's the messenger of the gods. That is our brain, but it's also the central nervous system. We got the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system. And you want to engage the parasympathetic nervous system. That's what keeps us non-anxiety. You want to engage that. Like a good way is to rub the vagus nerve like behind your ears. So you do the Spock thing, and you just rub lightly behind your ears to engage that parasympathetic. The vagus nerve goes right up there. It's a wandering nerve. It means wandering nerve. It goes all the way down throughout our body. Taurus is ruled by Venus. Venus, her ruler is Aphrodite. So look up the Greek goddess Aphrodite and look to see how she was born. I believe she was born by sea foam. With the Roman god, Venus is Venus herself. She doesn't have a ruler. I guess the Romans didn't like to rename their planets or their mythological creatures. They didn't like to rename them and give them extra rulership. Now, interestingly, Vulcan, I guess, is the god over Venus, or maybe the planet Vulcan is like the other. I would have to read more on that Vulcan. I find that very, because I heard of that before and I'm like, who's Vulcan? Vulcan? But this is very deep into mythology. Trying to read my notes here. Okay. Gemini, ruled by Mercury. So that is Castor and Pollux, the brothers. In Greek mythology, that's Hermes. And in Roman, that's the Romans, it's Castor and Pollux, the twins. And I didn't go through the whole entire book that I had from the library. There was so much in it. I didn't get to read the whole darn thing. And like I said, I'm calling in Saturn. So I'm not all over the place with Santos Bonacci and the astro-theology and this and this and this. I don't know. I need to pick one thing. Cancer is ruled by the moon, and people are going to say the moon's not a planet. In astrology, it is. In astrology, the sun is a planet, and Cancer is ruled by the moon, and the moon is ruled by Selene in Greek mythology, and in the Romans, it's Sol. I have notes here. I'm sorry. It's Luna. Sorry, it's lunar. Luna. That's where we get the word lunatic. If you are a mom or if you are a female, that's why people call women crazy, because lunar, because the moon has to do with mother. The moon also has to do with home and family. So that's where we get the lunatic from Luna. I have 3 triple goddess. What's going on with something's going on with my video. I don't know maybe it's a slow internet connection. That's weird. What's going on? Is it still doing it? I don't know what's going on. 3 triple goddess, Diana, Prosperina, and Hecate. I gotta look these up. 3 triple goddess. I don't know, have no idea what that is with Cancer. And maybe associated with Luna. I'm not sure. I gotta look it up. There's just a lot for me to learn. Leo, the sun. Leo is ruled by the sun. Sun is the heart. So I'm sorry I didn't tell you. Aries is the head. Taurus is like the sinuses, the ears, the mouth. Gemini is the hands, the arms, the lungs. You got the 2 lungs. Leo is the heart. That's the sun. It's Helios for the Greek, and Sol for the Romans. Persephone. I got notes here. Persephone. I'm not sure. I think that has to do with Virgo. Virgo is Mercury. And the daughter of Demeter is Persephone. So if you're into astro-theology and you're into the Bible, everywhere it says like wheat, the bringer of wheat, the bringer of corn, the bringer of bread. Anytime the Bible says wheat, corn, bread, that's Virgo. It's talking about Virgo. And Demeter, the harvest, when it talks about the harvest of the wheat, the harvest of the corn, they're talking about Demeter, and Persephone is the daughter. And Demeter is the earth goddess. Libra is ruled by Venus, just like Taurus. And I'm looking. I don't have anything on, because Venus likes to be called Venus in the Roman mythology. Scorpio is ruled by Mars. Again, that's Hermes. Or Aries. Sagittarius is Jupiter. Jupiter is ruled by Zeus. And you're going to see Jesus, the name Jesus. He is like the god of gods. And I heard that I like to credit whoever I hear it from. I need to find out who I heard this from, but Jupiter and Saturn revolve around each other. Like, yes, they go around the sun. Like, yes, the sun's here, Jupiter goes around and Saturn goes around, but apparently Jupiter and Saturn go, like, they orbit each other. And I was just a week or 2 ago, I heard that, and I was like, oh, okay. And whoever that was, man, who was that? Was it Santos Bonacci that said that? No, I don't think so. I don't know who that was, but whoever said, they said, don't tell the sun that Saturn and Jupiter kind of go around each other. Capricorn, Saturn, that's Pan. That's also Kronos. So Kronos is that Greek god. That's the god of time. Evil father of Zeus. And then Zeus overthrew. So yeah, Kronos is the evil father of Poseidon, Zeus, and I can't read my writing of the other one. I can't read it's very dark in here, and I don't want to. I can't read my writing. Yeah, I don't know what that says. Aquarius is ruled by Saturn again, Kronos. And did I go Capricorn? Did I say that? Yes, I did. Then Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, which is Venus. Oh God, why do I have Venus there? Zeus. Why do I have Venus there? That's weird. It's Zeus. I don't know why I have Venus there. Uranus. Let's see. I have notes about Uranus here. The original 7 Greek deities. Yeah, when you get into Greek mythology, it's kind of crazy. And sometimes reality is more stranger than fiction. So, some people say we're in the age of Aquarius right now. They're astrologers and astronomers don't really agree. But if you read the Bible, it's pretty amazing when you read the Bible, because you look through the times, and we're in the age of Pisces right now. Okay, Jesus, the man that represents Christianity. What is the symbol? It's the fish. It's the fish. So if you just go backwards, there was a time in Aries, it was the ram or the Lamb of God. So if you read the Old Testament, you'd see that God told the people in the Old Testament, take that blood and put it on the doorposts so the angel doesn't come and kill your firstborn. And it's an allegory. That Lamb of God was because of the time of Aries. It was the age of Aries. Before that, it was the age of Taurus, where it was a bull. So I'm not saying that people literally worship fish right now. People don't literally worship a fish. They worship Jesus, but the symbol of Christianity is a fish. And the symbol in Aries was the ram or the lamb of God. And then the symbol for Taurus was the bull. So you have to look at the symbolism of the Bible. So I'm going to read this. Let's see, it's 6:00. Wow. Okay. I'm going to hopefully 20 more minutes, maybe 25, if I could read this fast. Again, this is Live Journal, Jesus in Astrology. And I wish I knew the name of the person. Maybe I could find it in a little bit, because I like to credit who I'm reading. It says, I was brought up to believe the zodiac was a tool of the devil akin to the Ouija board. I now understand it to be nothing more than a kind of an ancient farmer's almanac, and this simply displays the months of the year in order and the demarcation of the 4 seasons. But how does this relate to Jesus? 3,000 years before Christ, the Egyptians worshipped the Son of God, a deity who was born of a virgin around December 25th, indicated by a star in the east, followed by 3 kings, that was able to perform miracles such as walking on water and turning water into wine. He had 12 disciples, later betrayed. He was then crucified and buried, and after 3 days resurrected, 3,000 years before Christ. His name was Horus, the Lamb of God, the shepherd. He was considered the center of the zodiac, the sun. Because of the sun's life-giving power, he was worshipped, and we now worship the light of Christ. Attis of Pithagraha, Krishna of India, Didymus of Greece, and Mirtha of Persia share these similarities. Such overwhelming evidence, proof of ancient pagan gods being nearly identical to what we've been taught to believe as our Savior. Aren't you at least a bit curious why? Or do you think it's an influence of Satan trying to test our faith by planting doubt, easily dismissed by righteousness. I used to believe this. No matter the evidence, I knew that God's word was true. However, the commonalities in these deities and the obvious inclusion of Christ appears entirely astrological. Now he's going to quote the transcript. The star in the east is Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky, which on December 24th aligns with the three bright stars in Orion's belt. The three bright stars are called today, that they were called in ancient time, the three kings. The three kings and the brightest star, Sirius, all point to the place in the sunrise on December 25th. This is why the three kings follow the star in the east in order to locate the sunrise, the birth of the sun, Horus. There is another very interesting phenomenon that occurs around December 25th, the winter solstice. From the summer solstice to the winter solstice, the days become shorter and colder. From the perspective of the northern hemisphere, the sun appears to move south and get smaller and more scarce. The shortening of the days and the expiration of the crops when approaching the winter solstice symbolized the process of death and the ancients. It was the death of the sun. By December 22nd, this is very important. By December 22nd, the sun's demise was fully realized. For the sun, having moved south continually for 6 months, makes its way to the lowest point in the sky. As a curious thing occurs, the sun stops moving south. It's in the tomb, okay? Christ in the tomb, 3 days, 3 nights. So this is the mythology. This is the story, the greatest story ever told. This is the astro-theology right here. The sun stops moving south, at least conceivably, for 3 days. During the 3-day pause, the sun resides in the vicinity of the Southern Cross, or Crux, constellation. After this time of December 25th, the sun moves 1 degree at this time north, foreshadowing longer days, warmth, and spring. And this is said the sun died on the cross. What cross? The equinox. The sun, S-U-N, died on the cross. And dead for 3 days, only to be resurrected or born again. This is why Jesus and numerous other sun gods share the crucifixion. 3-day death and resurrection concept. It is the sun's transition before it shifts its direction back into the northern hemisphere, bringing spring and thus salvation. Personally, none of this strikes me as mere coincidence. I mean, sure, it's possible to come up with many scenarios for why Jesus is not Christ, but this looks like much more. Christians who have seen this web film have begun several debunking sites, of which I've never read over, and I find their logic circular in nature. Christian logic is very circular in nature. Go back and watch my other videos from 2013. Yes, very much so. By calling the divinity of Christ into question, I'm also forced to discredit this vehicle, the Bible. Ergo, quoting the Bible, the words of Jesus, and proof against my suggestions that it's false contradicts its defense. If I were trying to get people to believe that I was divine by handing you a document proof, you can be damn sure I was going to include clauses within it which state my proof shall never be questioned, and there will be those who will try to dissuade you from believing it. On other issues, the debunking sites appear to succeed in discrediting by reciting historical, more accurate data. The true physical birth of a man named Jesus likely being sometime during the fall harvest, which theologians understand as being more likely based on timelines hinted in a Bible. And these do nothing to logically deconstruct the film as a whole. In other words, they're focusing on the wrong things. Surely you have to process all available information to understand why you believe what you believe. Okay, so I think I want to go down to... Okay. Finally, a word on the ages. Completely new information for me. I find it fascinating that the context we're discussing today, for some of you scholars out there, or New Age types, this may be old hat. But as for me, I'm finding it more I know, the more I discover I don't know. So he's quoting, and I wish I knew what he was quoting, but this goes into the precession of the equinoxes. And it changes every 2,150 years. It changes. So let me quote. I wish I knew what he was quoting now. In the many astrological, astronomical metaphors of the Bible, one of the most important has to do with the ages. Throughout the scripture, there is a numerous reference to the age. In order to understand this, we need to be familiar with the phenomenon known as the precession of the equinoxes. The ancient Egyptians, along with the cultures long before them, recognized that approximately every 2,150 years, the sunrise in the morning of the spring equinox would occur at a different side of the zodiac. This has to do with a slow, angular wobble that the earth maintains as it rotates on its axis. It is called a precession because the constellations go backwards rather than through the normal year cycle. The amount of time that it takes for the precession to go through all 12 signs is roughly 25,765 years. That is also called the Great Year. And ancient societies are very aware of this. They referred to each 2,150 year period as an age. From 4,300 BC to 2,150 BC was the age of Taurus, the bull. So you can go back and look to see how people worshiped a bull, or the not a bull, but a whatever the sign, whatever it meant. Like Jesus, Christians, the symbol is a fish. So it doesn't mean people are worshiping a fish. They're worshiping Jesus as a real man that died on the cross. Okay. So from 2,150 BC to 180, it was the age of Aries, the ram, or the lamb of God. And then from 180 to 2,150 is the age of Pisces, and the age we are still in today. And then it says in around around 2,150 will enter in the new age, the age of Aquarius. There are people that do not agree on this. There are some people that think we are in the age of Aquarius now. And there are people that say, no, we're a good 100, 150 years off. Something like that. Maybe 100 years off. So 2,150 years is a different age. So if Jesus did, which it's a mythological thing, I don't believe he really did die on the cross. But if he was a real man, then he must have came sometime around 180 or somewhere around there, give or take maybe 20 or 30 years, because there's no real historian that really took notes and stuff like that. And I think the first, I don't know when Josephus was around, was it like 20 or 30 years after Jesus was hung? So, and Christianity is based in pagan rituals and pagan beliefs. So you can go back into my old videos from 2013 and all that and everything. I'm sure I still have them up. I don't think I took them down. You can go back. You can go back to all my old videos. This is interesting to read. Because a lot of people don't know these ages. It says, he's quoting someone again, and I don't know where he's going. Now, the Bible reflects, broadly speaking, a symbolic movement through the three ages, foreshadowing a fourth. In the Old Testament, when Moses comes down the Mount Sinai to the Ten Commandments, he is very upset to see his people worshiping a golden bull calf. but in fact he shattered the stone tablets and instructed the people to kill each other in order to purify themselves. Most biblical scholars would attribute this anger to the fact that the Israelites were worshiping a false idol or something to that effect. The reality is that the golden bull is Taurus, the bull, and Moses represents the new age of Aries, the ram. This is why Jews, even today, still blow the ram's horn. Moses represents the new age of Aries, and upon the new age, everyone must shed the old age. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Moses represents that. I have not read that paragraph before. Moses represents the new age of Aries, and upon the new age, everyone must shed the old age. Other deities mark these transitions as well. A pre-Christian god who kills the bull. The same symbology. Okay. Aquarius rules technology, but Aquarius is also about humanitarianism. That's why there's, think of that song back in the 60s. We are the age of Aquarius. I mean, it is humanity at its best. Everybody getting along. But man, that's deep. I'm just having a moment right now. Like, if Moses was bringing in the age of Aries, saying, no, you're worshiping the bull. You need to stop that. And it's a allegory. Yeah. Oh, you're worshiping the bull. You have to worship God. No, it's like, okay, we're moving into the Lamb of God, not the bull. The Lamb of God. It is a symbolism. Sorry. This is just, I got to study Pisces more and study all that stuff and everything like that, because Aquarius rules technology. And we are in a very big speed up of technology. Let me read more of this. Tell a person that you're Metatron and they'll stare at you blankly. Mention something of a Charlton Heston movie, and suddenly everybody is a theological scholar. The more reading I do, the more I find consensus that Bible stories weren't based on actual events that I was raised to believe, instead being told from their anecdotic properties, Aesop fables of the time, stories of purpose, of moral lessons. I can't keep on going on. This is fabulous. Yeah. The pagan manipulation of the New Testament. The various sun gods mentioned above, Attis, Attis, Krishna, Didymos, and Myrtha, have all known their Moses story. Yeah. Now Jesus is the figure who ushers in the age following Aries, the age of Pisces, and the two fish. Fish symbolize very abundant in the New Testament. Jesus feeds 5,000 people with the bread and two fish. When he begins the ministry walking along Galilee, he befriends two fishermen who follow him. I think we've all seen Jesus fish on the back of the people's cards. Little do they know what it actually means. It is a pagan astrological symbolism for the sun's kingdom during the age of Pisces. Alas, Jesus' assumed birth date is essentially the start of this age. I'm not going to go on and on and on. I'm not. So I am held captive by astro-theology right now. I'm just very much held captive in astrology, and Aquarius is the water bearer. So I'm not exactly sure how that is going to come about. I'm just thinking of artificial intelligence, guys. That's what I'm thinking about. Yeah. Luke 22:10. Behold, you are entered into a city. There should be a man meet you bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him into the house where he enters in. It's not talking about a literal man meeting you with a pitcher of water. It is an allegory. The age of Pisces. He represents the age after Pisces, when the sun leaves the age of Pisces, Jesus, and it will go into the house of Aquarius, following Pisces in the procession of the equinoxes. I don't know what that will look like. Do you? I can't tell you what it will look like. I have no idea. Very interesting. I'm going to put that down. And I can't tell you when I'll do another video. I have many things that I need to prepare for tonight, for tomorrow morning. And I got my own stuff that I need to do, usually between 9 and 2 in the afternoon. I got many things that I need to do, but I did put a GoFundMe link in this, and that was not the focus of this. I don't even know if it's allowed, I'll tell you that right now, but I just had to think of something different. And everybody's a content creator now, and YouTube has changed so much since 2013. I can't keep up. I need to borrow a millennial. I'm Gen X. I need to borrow a millennial, a Gen Y, that's about 37 years old, and play with Canva and see how do I make my videos shine instead of this. I don't even know about like a background or anything like that I can do. So yeah. I do have other notes that are on Microsoft Word. That tells you how old I am. Microsoft Word. There you go. Everything's Power BI now, not even Excel. But yeah, I'll probably go back and get that great mythological book. Oh my God, that book is so freaking fascinating. And I'll have to get to the Better Library is up in the city library up in Riverside. I'll have to go up there and spend some time up there because at this time I am not buying any books. I will not. I have plenty of books here that I just don't need to buy. I can borrow them and take them, get them from the library and borrow them and then take them back. I don't need to buy any books. Probably should go through my books and see which ones I can get rid of. Because I think I have about 120, and I'm thinking about 100 of them are in my car, in my SUV. So maybe it'd be a good idea just to donate 10 or 20% of them to somebody else that might want them. I do value that education. So that was hopefully I did everything here. I thought of words: educate, edify, erect, elevate, illuminate, and eradicate. And this video really came about within the last, I'm going to say week or two. It's very interesting when you see Christians, born again Christians, or just people that consider themselves Christians. And this is probably something that I would brought up in my other videos back in 2013. I said Religion divides us. Religion hurts people. It really does. Religion really does hurt people. It really divides us. It really makes us mean. It makes us cruel. And that's why I have the one video. I think I still have the one video up where I was crying. Now, I have short hair now, but I'm still the same woman. And I lost a lot of weight. You can see some videos from 2019. I was doing some prayers and stuff like that. And I lost so much weight in 2019. It was ridiculous. But I think I was crying on one of the videos back in 2013 because of the Scientology and the woman that died. She was waiting. She was a Scientologist, and the people took her to a Scientologist doctor, and she died. And that, whatever video that was about that woman dying because she couldn't go to a regular doctor, she had to go to a Scientologist doctor. She died on the way. She lost her life. And that was the video that said, I'm done with fucking religion. I'm done. And that was like 2013, 2012, maybe 2011. I don't know what it was because I started listening to the Atheist Experience sometime in 2011. So it's about 2-3 weeks ago, maybe longer, maybe a month ago, applying to about 40, 50 jobs a week. Been unemployed since, been unemployed since about March of last year when I worked for Victra, authorized dealer of Verizon phones. On the W4, W2, whatever it is. It says ABC Phones in North Carolina right on it. That's Victra. That is authorized dealer of Verizon phones. So all the phone plans and all the prices with Verizon and all the perks and everything, and the phones and the watches and the iPads and everything. Yeah, I worked for them, and everybody was laid off nationally. If you worked in that kiosk inside the Costco, because I didn't work for Costco, guys. I worked for Victra. People thought I worked in retail. And I didn't handle cash. I didn't do that. So everybody across the nation in that kiosk that worked for Verizon, that worked for Victra, was laid off. And I don't know how many people. Was that 500, 1,000? I don't know. I'm not sure. If there was, which I know there wasn't. Let's say 5 people per kiosk, and there was 150 kiosks, to 750 people. Well, I know some kiosks only had 2 or 3 people. And there was like 250 kiosks. So at one time, maybe 1,250 employees. I don't really know. But in the kiosk position nationwide, kiosk inside Costco. So, after applying online, I was like, well, I got to do a GoFundMe, and I started calling churches. And what I noticed was the same exact thing that I noticed 10 or, well, I'm going to say 20 years ago. And these Christians, and it doesn't matter if they're born again Christians or Muslims or, well, not Muslims. I'm sorry. It's not Muslims. It's Christians. It's the Christians, guys. What I noticed was, doesn't matter if you're like a Mormon, Church of Latter-day Saints. Doesn't matter if you're Church of Christ. Doesn't matter if you consider yourself a Christian. I do not understand this at all. And maybe somebody can explain it for me. But how is it that you think someone's soul going to heaven is more important than their life right now? So if you got somebody that's like at risk for homelessness, okay, when you can't find a job and you're applying to everything, and your background is sales and administrative assistant, and that's your background, and you go over to a job posting on a job board, or maybe you go directly to the employer's website and you look to see what they're doing. Oh, you see a job opening on their website, on their careers website. You go down to the bottom, click on careers. Oh, okay. It's a retail job. I don't have retail experience. I haven't worked in retail in 20 years. So you try to tailor your resume to that job description as much as you can, right? Okay. And you still can't find a job, and your unemployment in 6 months, 26 weeks, you savings gone. Your savings is gone, right? You have no more savings. And you reach out to churches, and I just don't understand this. How people say, "Oh, we don't have cash for you. I'm sorry, but we got food." Well, I got food stamps, guys. I got food stamps. I got food coming out of my ears. I just donated a whole bunch of food because I went to a food bank back in July, and they gave me so much canned food. It was like probably enough for like a family of 3. It was so much food. So I went in July last year, and then I went like a month ago or something like that in when was it? Yeah, January. Yeah, I guess it was January. Maybe it was December. But got so much food. And I was like, damn, I did the same thing in July. I got rid of, it was like 2 big boxes. It was like 4 pounds of cheese. I don't eat cheese. It was like a quart or more of cow's milk. I don't do cow's milk either. So I got rid of all this stuff in July or August or whenever. I gave it to a friend of mine, and went and got more and whenever January, and I was like, well, there they go again. They're giving milk and cheese, stuff I don't eat, milk and cheese. And I think it was probably 10 or 15 cans of like, I don't know, of not green beans, canned spinach. So I was like, get out of it. I don't need this much food. And I just don't understand the Christians that say, oh, no, we can't give you cash, but we can give you food. Food does not solve everybody's problems. I'm not a drug addict. But Christians seem to think that everybody that can't pay their rent, we must be a drug addict. You must be a drug addict. So, they seem to think, oh, but you're saved. Oh, we can't help you because we can't help you get in a hotel for tonight. But at least you're saved. Oh, we can't help you with your car. I need 3 tires on my car. They're all bald. I can't even do Uber, guys. I can't even do Uber because it won't pass the safety inspection. So what is a 19-inch tire? 80, 90 bucks, 70 bucks, maybe 60. I know it needs to be I think it needs to be 532 or 632 tread for it to pass. If the tread is 332 or 432, it won't pass. That'll be too low. But I need 3 used tires. I can't even do Uber to make money or Lyft because I'm going to have to take it into a place to get it. And then they're going to have to do all the other stuff to it. And I'm sure the dual clutch sticks because my car kept on going into limp mode last year 3 times. Don't ever get a Hyundai, guys. Don't get a Hyundai. It's a Hyundai Tucson 2018. They last 100,000 miles, and then after that, they kind of clunk off. And I think it has 115,000 miles on it. So I just don't understand how Christians can say they love people, but they don't care about their needs right now. They only care if they're going to heaven. But if you're not in the need of that and you're already saved and you're already born again, they do this to you. They only care if you're going to heaven. And that's why I did this video. I was like asking myself, where do you want to go with this? where do you want to go with this? Because I was getting angry at these Christians that said, oh, we can't help you with cash, but do you want to hear the story of Jesus Christ? So I'm going to have to say it now. If anybody is still listening and you're a Christian, or you're not a born again Christian, maybe you're not, but you consider yourself a Christian. You consider yourself as having the truth. You consider that everybody else that doesn't have your gospel is wrong. Mormons do this. Born again Christians at Baptist churches do this. They got Baptists against Baptists. Believe me, I used to be a Baptist at Hyles-Anderson College. There's Baptists against Baptists. There's people that are Christians that believe they have the truth, but other Christians do not. And I don't understand why Christians do this. I don't know if Muslims do it. I don't know if Jews do it. But what makes you think that a person has not heard of Jesus Christ dying on their cross? Jesus Christ dies on the cross every day. The sun dies on the cross every day. What cross is that? The equinox. Every single day, the sun dies on the cross, and it comes up and it rises again. Jesus returns. The sun god rises again every single day. Even the birds and the flowers and the roses and the trees. Watch nature. Watch it. Watch what happens with nature. I don't know what's going on with my thing here. Some weird stuff's going on. I don't know what. Maybe it needs to be updated or something, but something's going on. But watch nature. You'll see it. You know, when the sun comes up, the flowers and the trees and everything, and the flowers and everything will follow, and then the sun goes down and they will bow, and then the next morning the flowers and the trees, everything, watch animals, everything, unless they're nocturnal, they'll follow the sun and then they'll bow. It's beautiful. Nature is not stupid. Nature is not stupid. It's not dumb. So why do Christians think that if you have a need, doesn't matter if you need money or you're going through a hell with your spouse, you need spousal help, maybe you need some kind of counseling, maybe you're sick. You know, for me, sinus. Where's my water? I didn't drink my water through the whole thing. When COVID came through with Omicron in January 2021, I was down for 6 days. It affected my sinuses. It was like I was in a boxing match, and my eyes were pain and cheeks were pain. I had a fever for maybe 2 days. The pain in my body, it was just joint pain everywhere. But I was tired. I was exhausted for like 6 days. I had no energy for 6 days. And 2 or 3 days I had a fever, but no chest cold. I don't get chest cold. I get sinus. It's all sinus. And then the flirt variant got me as well. Last summer, it was June. It was 36 hours. I had 104.1 fever. How was I conscious? I don't know. But I went out into the kitchen, got the thing, because I knew I had a fever. I could tell. And I went 104.1. How am I conscious? How am I not sleeping at 104.1? Commanded my body to heal, because it was a Tuesday night in June. My ears were closed. My eustachian tubes were closed. I had to sit up straight and use like ice and everything, and then ice. And I noticed the ice didn't help at all. The ice didn't help. But I commanded my body to heal. And within 36 hours, by Thursday morning, I was able to go to the ENT. I had an ENT appointment. And that flirt variant got me. I know it was the flirt variant was going around, you know, and So it doesn't matter what it is. If you're sick, if you're going through a divorce, if you need money, you can't come up with the rent money. Maybe you're doing Uber, but you're not making enough for your rent. Why do Christians assume you're not saved? You must be going through this stuff because you're not saved. I do not understand Christians and their thinking. Oh, we can't help you with cash. We can't help you with your marriage. We can't help you with your sickness. We can't drive you to the hospital. Sorry. We can't drive you to the hospital. We can't give you a hand up, but we can pray for you to get saved. We can show you from the Bible how you know for sure you can get saved. Would you like to ask Jesus to come in your heart? That's like a slap in the face, Christians. Do you really think in 2025 that how many is it, 8 billion people on earth now? Where do you guys think that people, especially if they're like 40 and above, most of us that are 40 and above, I'm going to tell you, most of us have heard the gospel of Jesus Christ and probably either rejected it at that time and said that's a bunch of hogwash, or they accepted it. And then as they got older, they realized it was hogwash. Religion divides us. It separates us. Religion is bad. It is evil. It is evil if it's used that way. And what I'm learning is syncretism. Everything is all one. There is one mind. It is all one. There is many paths up that mountain to source. There is no heaven other than the heaven in your mind that you create. There is no hell. There's no fire and brimstone other than the fire and brimstone and the hell that you create in your mind. I said, well, I don't want to be angry and pissed off at these Christians, these little Christ. No, you're more of a follower of Paul. I should get out my Gnostic Bible and start reading the Gospel of Mary and start reading the Gospel of Thomas and just do that one day a week. I'm going to read the Gospel of Thomas. I'm going to be like, okay, Christians, are you a follower of Christ or are you a follower of Paul? Most of you are followers of Paul, not Christ, because you wouldn't be doing what you would be doing, and you wouldn't be saying what you were saying if you were a true follower of Christ. Get rid of the Bible, get rid of everything now, except for if you study astro-theology, that's different. But you can't take the Bible as a literal document. You just can't. We can, but you're not going to be my friend. So get rid of the Bible and only read the words of Christ in red. Just read the words of Christ in red. That's it. And you're not followers of Christ. You're followers of Paul. And it makes me sick. And that is why, especially in the last day or two, of people saying, oh, we can't help you with that because you think I'm a drug addict. You think I'm a drug addict. And like I said, applying to 50, 60 jobs a week, how you get a job is a referral. You get a referral. No, have I gotten referrals? No, I haven't. Nobody's given me a referral. Nobody has told me about their boss and said, my boss is hiring for this. Nobody has said that to me at all. Nepotism works, guys. Nepotism works. But people just want to give me a link to a job ad, and this is what I say to you. Don't give me a job ad. Don't do it. That's why I said, okay, I'm going on here and doing this, and I'm done. I shared. Oh no, I haven't read this. I want to read this. I don't think I'm going to read the whole chapter. I think it's probably only 5, 6, maybe. How long is it? Oh my God, it's a long. I'm not going to read the whole thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's a long chapter. I'm not going to read the whole entire chapter, but I do want to read a little bit of Ernest Holmes because it is going to ground me in truth with sharing and with studying anything so high-minded, esoteric, the higher levels of tarot or astrology, I need to ground down. So, let's see. Yeah, I will read, let's see, I will read 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll read 6 pages of this, and that's it. It's just chapter 2. And I see some people coming on and leaving. So that's interesting. It says, why then, if these things are true, is the world still impoverished, mentally and physically ill, and apparently unable to become unified? Ooh, unable to become unified. This is the great question. Why? Unless the question is adequately answered and its meaning increasingly applied to human conduct, there is a danger that the world may destroy a vast system of micro conceptions and be compelled to begin over again. It seems as though the persistent purpose were being carried out, that anything which does not comply with this purpose must become submerged in the backwash of evolution. That which is more nearly right may come forward. The world has reached a dramatic climax in its history. It has unlocked so much of the physical resources of the universe that unless this enormous power is used constructively, it can well destroy it. The world stands on the brink of the great abyss, a terrific regression, or, if it choose, faces the horizon of a glorious day, a new age. But you may ask, why would an almighty power and a divine intelligence permit such possible disaster? This is something that you and I have no control over. God, or the creative genius of the universe, has placed this prerogative in the mind of man through giving him volition and choice. God himself could not will it otherwise, for if there is to be a valid choice, it must be accompanied by the possibility more than one thing to choose. This is what Moses meant when he said that the word is in your own mouth, a blessing or a curse according to the way you use it. Jesus reiterated this when he said that the Father worketh until now, but now the Son works. That whatsoever things the Son seeth the Father do, that doeth the Son also, and the Father may be glorified in the Son. Now you are this Son, and you wish the Father to be glorified through you. You want life to live through you. You want joy to express itself in you. You desire peace and mind and happiness, success, health, radiant living. How could you desire these things unless they already exist as possibilities? There is not an echo within you, as though it came from some invisible source, a deep feeling, an intuitive something. You cannot quite put it into words, but there it is, definite as your life. It's taking longer to read. Do not be afraid of this urging. All nature obeys it blindly. The culmination and triumphant result of evolution has placed you in a possibility of accepting or rejecting. In wonder and awe before the grandeur of the possibility, the mind stands still, the imagination is staggered, but that hope which springs perennial in man's consciousness says, Beloved, now we are the sons of God, and it doth not yet appear that we shall be. We know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. You already are a spiritual being. When the mind understands this and embodies its essence, in which you are in the invisible, will become more apparent in the visible. You have concluded that this is true. You are reinforced by the wisdom of the ancients and are rapidly becoming further reinforced through scientific investigation. Let us see if we cannot discover what blocks the way, we shall not discover any block in reality itself, but in our attitude toward it. Now that man has reached the stage of self-choice, he can temporarily but not permanently block the divine intention. Borrowing or Browning said that man can desecrate, but never lose the divine spark. It is always there. Quote, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world, end quote. Let us suppose that you are spirit, soul, and body, as the Bible states, that your spirit already is perfect, an individualization center of the consciousness of God. God has made you out of himself. The only material he had was the substance of his own being. The only mind he had to implant in you was his mind. The only spirit he had to impart was his own spirit. Quote, what is man that thou art mindful of him, or the son of man that thou visitest him, that thou madest him a little lower than the angels, thou crownedst him with the crown of honor, and did set him over the works of thy hands, end quote. You are a living being by virtue of the fact that through some process which no man knows, needs to know, or can know, life is incarnated in you, operating through you this moment. This is the gift of life. This is the Son forever begotten in the bosom of the Father. But you are an individual, like all other individuals, gradually awakening to the greater possibility. If life made you out of itself, which it most certainly did, and if you are in an individual just like a little different form of all individuals who ever lived, then life not only created you as an independent being, it also implanted a unique something within you. It will never be duplicated. The spirit that accompanies you through your life is just a little different from the spirit of any other person, not different in that it is isolated because all are rooted in one being, but different in that it is individual. Suppose you were to think of this way. There is a spirit in me, and the spirit is God in his own Son. Whether or not I understand it, there is a real myself which forever exists in pure spirit. I had nothing to do with this. I merely awoke. And discovered it. I did not give myself to myself. I did not give it to myself, and I cannot withdraw myself from it. I can only accept it. Since you are an individual that you can neither accept nor reject your own spirit, of course, no one can take it away from you. Somewhere along the line, you will be compelled to accept it. However, you can procrastinate, you can divert, you can sidestep, or delay this divine event. If you knew beyond question that this was true, your greatest search would be after your own spirit. Well, do you know this? Oh, you do know this. Every desire you have for betterment in life is some echo from that deep within which forevermore proclaims, behold, in quotes, behold, I made all things new, end quote. This is because your mind has a prerogative of accepting or rejecting that the Bible states, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in and sup with him and he with me, end quote. Suppose with almost simplicity you accept the spirit that is in you, not in the mountain, not at Jerusalem, not even in the temple, although it is there also, but in you, the spirit of yourself, standing between this spirit, your physical body, and external affairs. There is the sum total of your thinking, believing, and feeling, perhaps more than anyone understands or believes. The sum total of every man's thought is a mirage of the ages. it would be well to think of it this way, that you may not condemn yourself. You are like everyone else, an infant crying in the night, something trying to be made whole, something with a deep yearning for security, a deep and unspeakable loving longing for love, for protection, and for peace. But the mind is filled with the accumulated doubts of the ages, as though the vast abyss of doubt, fear, and uncertainty were standing between you and your desires. Ooh, here is where science of mind can aid you, where your intellect may reach through to unite with your inspiration, where the conscious use of the laws of mind may break down the barriers which hide the face of love from the fact of unlovingness. If God created you after his own nature, and there is nothing else he could have made you out of, then the thing you are after is already here within you. The only thing that stands between you and it are the accumulated thoughts, beliefs, and emotions of the ages. But there is nothing there that has not been put there, either by yourself or the race. What has been put there can be removed. These unbeliefs and thought patterns laid down throughout the ages and accumulated by your own experience, by your inherited tendencies and environment. There is no wasting time speculating as to what avenue they came through. Your job is to reject them. Your intellect is now accepted that you can do this. Are you not then like one who has started on a journey to a beautiful city which he knows exists? What if he has to climb a few mountains, make a certain number of detours, and cross a desert or ford a stream? Everything that is worth attaining is worth striving toward. It is a goal you are after. You have a vision and you are going to follow it. You may not reach your city of your city of good in a single day, but its image is out there in your desert is not a mirage. Is not a mirage. There was never a counterfeit without a reality back of it. Fortunately, your destiny is not external. If it were, you could not reach your goal. One by one, without frenzy or impatience, you're going to remove the mental blocks that stand between you and your destiny. What thought has done, though thought can undo. The mental patterns laid down in your subconscious throughout the ages can be consciously removed. This great thing within you, which is called will or choice, can decide your destiny. They can remove every obstruction and gradually implant new patterns in your mind. Suppose you look at the proportion of another viewpoint. Suppose you place the physical environment, including your body and your conscious mind, at one end of the line, and the other end place your spiritual being, God and infinite possibility. At the end of the line, everything is already perfect. Jesus called this the kingdom of heaven, which ought to come on earth. It should make its advent in your experience. It wants to, the Spirit speaketh such. The end of the line is the kingdom which has been promised. The Spirit is happy, whole, free, filled with joy, internal in his existence, and can provide you with everlasting expansion. All your highest hopes and dreams have come from it. The echo of its being is your intellect. The voice of its unspoken word is in your mind. The feeling of its light and life is in your heart. The emotion and its imagination in your soul. One last paragraph. At the other end of the line is your physical environment. including your body, most of your conscious thoughts, your daily hopes and aspirations, fears and failures, all apparently isolated, wandering in the desert of despair, climbing endless mountains, at times lost in immeasurable forests through which light does not break, forging, rushing streams in the turmoil of life, searching, wondering, hoping, longing, yearning toward the other half of its being, which alone can make it whole. Do you think that it's a good description of your attitude and experiences? One half of you in heaven and the other half in the dense earth. The heavenly willing to come forward and answer your every need. The earth half striving toward the heavenly and the apparent barrier. If you knew, as you know, as you live, that the barrier were only a thing of thought or belief, and the first half of your journey would be accomplished, you would know that you have the tools to cut down the forests, level the mountains, bridge the streams, and cause the desert to bloom. And that was part of chapter 2, not all of chapter 2. That was only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It was 8 pages of chapter 2 of this thing called You by Ernest Holmes. So, like I said, I just started picking this up and reading it about a week ago, and now it's a thing. I got to read it every day. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. So he's one of the great mystics, and Ernest Holmes founded the science of mind. He's the founder, and you know, I want to find that peace within me. That's why I did this video, because of all the Christians out there saying, we can't help you with this, but we can pray for you to get saved. Would you like to hear Jesus Christ and we can have you, the missionaries call you, or we can have some Christians call you? And I can't tell you if it was Mormons or who, I don't know, but I'm not sure who uses the term missionaries. I really don't know. I don't follow that, but you know, we all have a choice. And I was like, no, I don't want to go there with the anger. Whatever people think, you know, whatever. You think I'm not saved, and you think just because I'm having a hard time financially, it must be because I'm not saved. Okay. Whatever. You think just because somebody is going through sickness with a sinus infection, or they have some kind of something going on with their body, they must not be saved, and you want to try to save them. You want to lead them to Christ because you think that they need Jesus just because they're not in perfect health. I just don't understand that with Christians. So I have to let all that go, all of that. And I will, let's see, what day am I not busy? Okay, so gosh, wow. I don't know. I got a little bit of things that are kind of up in the air. Yeah. This is a busy week for me. Interesting. Okay. So maybe not this week. Maybe next week will be better, like after the 26th. Maybe after the 25th or 26th. Because I got things that are up in the air, and I just don't know when I'm doing everything that I need to do, but I will find time to go down to the library. I need to get that book back, that mythology book. It's just such a good mythology book. It just has everything in it. Not just Roman, not just Greek. It has every mythology, and it's fabulous. And yeah, I'm really excited when you find, like that was talking about, when you find that thing within you, that space within you, things just kind of open up. And it's like just let the Christians do what they want to do and ignore them. Ignore them. You know, my landlords are Mormon. They have their own beliefs. They have their own false beliefs. And I did a lot of shadow work for the last 2 years. And I know a lot of my false beliefs. I know a lot of them. And yeah, I think it's a good start of the year. It's February. We're going into Pisces season pretty soon, and so it's the beginning of the year, and consciously, we can all decide consciously if we want. It's a good year. It's a good day. It's a good year, and if you want to let me know if you're still here with me, let me know what you want to hear. I know there was a couple people. I don't know how many people popped in. I think it was 2 people popped in. I saw one, and then, sorry I don't have great graphics. I got to borrow a millennial or a Gen Z. I got to borrow a Gen Z. I got to borrow a 25-year-old that'll show me how to do all this stuff. And because I know I can create wonderful things and put them on YouTube, and YouTube is just not the same as it was 2013. It's just taken off with all the different things. So have a good night, guys.